In our Sunrise Smart Start this morning, Rochester Mayor Malik Evans announcing the city is filing a lawsuit against several large gun manufacturers. Evans says we began the year losing a 14-year-old and we just lost a 12-year-old to gun violence. This lawsuit, he says, will hold companies accountable for the increasing gun violence in Rochester. He adds the lawsuit will hopefully slow the flow of illegal guns into the city.
We know that there are no gun manufacturers in Rochester. We know that there are no gun shops in Rochester. But we know that guns flow into this city like the great waters of the Genesee.
Evans stresses this is not about legal gun owners. This is strictly regarding illegal guns on the street. State Attorney General Letitia James and New York City Mayor Eric Adams filed similar litigation, but it was against ghost gun companies this year. City Council President Miguel Melendez putting forth several amendments he says are needed to reform the Police Accountability Board. The agency has been mired in controversy and dysfunction this year. Among the changes for the PAB, a cut in funds so that $5 million initially allocated for the board will now be redirected to other needs like housing, mental health, and substance abuse treatment. Also proposed, the agency's role and authority would be modified and the day-to-day staff would be called the Office of Police Accountability. City council members were at odds over these changes.
It's problematic. You are
trying
to make charter changes with no notice. We got this legislation at 4:19 p.m. How are we supposed to read? It's our charter. The charter determines things around our whole community, our whole city. They did not have a chance to say anything. The PAB is for the community, not for you, not for Malik.
I believe that we're just kicking the can down the street. We're going to end up in the same place, having the same discussion, because we have heard from the community. I'm out in the community. My constituents said, pull the plug.
Councilmember Lightfoot says the people he hears from are tired of the chaos. However, the changes to the PAB's charter were not voted on at last night's meeting. Other proposals requiring more training for the board, funding shifts, and a hiring freeze were adopted. After 2 break-ins at the start of the holiday season, a local food pantry has worked to rebuild its supply to support those in need. The Community Food Cupboard of Rochester has more donations and volunteers than ever before, possibly because of the help that's poured in from the community. Over the last few years, the food pantry has dealt with the pandemic, a fire in 2020, and 2 thefts in October. The Community Food Cupboard of Rochester will be extending its hours next month to meet the ongoing demand of service. Officials with the Greater Rochester International Airport want to make sure things run as smooth as possible for those flying in and out of the airport. We're told the airport is expecting anywhere between 38 to 42 departures a day heading into the weekend, and pilot crews have been meeting preparing for any snow and ice. Their message to travelers: you're going to want to come early and expect some delays. Advocates urge the New York legislature and Governor Hochul to expand New York's paid family leave law to include parents who have experienced stillbirth. The current law excludes those individuals, but new legislation would provide these parents with 12 weeks of paid time off from work after birth. A New York man whose wife recently experienced stillbirth spoke about their experience, saying she was forced to go back to work despite doctors ordering her to be on strict bed rest.
Let me make this very clear. When a woman gives birth 20 weeks, after 20 weeks, the outcome of said baby's life, dead or alive, does not matter. Birthing takes a tremendous toll on a woman's body, whether natural or C-section. Determining the recovery time based on whether a baby breathes or not is irresponsible. Not only is this a physical issue, but it is also now a mental health issue.
He added the justification behind the current law, the cause of stillbirth, was considered unpreventable under the law. Well, it may seem like spring is a long way off, but the Rochester Lilac Festival has already been announced. For the 125th anniversary, the festival will return to its 10-day format. For the last 2 years, the festival was spread out over 3 weekends. Next year's festival takes place from May 12th to May 21st. Festival coordinators have already released a schedule of some of the events taking place throughout that time, and you can find the full list over on our website. That's rochesterfirst.org. RochesterFirst.com. Boy, some spring blooms sure look enticing right now, James, but we're going to have to hold on and just look at some icicles on the branches for now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Still cold outside, but really not a day where you should avoid going outside, like maybe Friday, for example. We've got a decent one to get out. This is a photo of Mason getting out yesterday, enjoying the backyard. Looking and saying, you know what, some gloves, some mittens, a hat, and a winter jacket, some boots, and you're good to go. That's all you need to prepare. That is a little bit of snow in the backyard. I think some of that melts today with a little bit of sunshine. Temperatures warming into the 30s this afternoon. We'll get to 40 next few days before a high-impact storm system heading our way before the weekend arrives. We'll take a look at the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Casey, back to you.
Everybody's going to need to bundle up just like me. All right, taking another look at the roads this morning. Still no accidents or anything of note to report. 390, 495, 90, all looking clear, as well as the side streets. So knock on wood, it stays like that for your Wednesday morning. All right, the Hanukkah celebration began this Sunday, and we're now looking at a fourth night of celebrations. Jatira Marsh joins us now to tell us how some residents are marking the holiday. Good morning, Jatira.
Good morning, Casey. Temple Beth El in Rochester is celebrating tonight by having a community-wide party. The party is 90s themed and will begin at 5:30 with candle lighting and consist of dinner, drinks, games, and activities. This is the first time since the pandemic that the synagogue has been able to fully come together to celebrate. Debbie Zeiger, executive director of the temple, shares how she feels on being able to come together to celebrate this year.
It's something we've learned not to take for granted. We used to take for granted that we could just come together, and we can't anymore. So it's nice to be able to come together safely, but we'll come together.
The lighting is open to the public and free of charge and will include drink and snack of the night. Reporting, Jatira Marsh, News 8.
Jatira, thanks so much. The party is open to the public, as Jatira mentioned, but registration is required. For more information on registration costs and events for the rest of the weekend, you can find the link over on our website. Of course, that's RochesterFirst.com. Players with the Amerks visiting area hospitals to spread some holiday cheer, and we caught up with the team at RGH yesterday afternoon. The players mingled with patients, participated in holiday bingo, and even delivered some gifts. Defenseman Chase Prisky says the whole experience is pretty rewarding for both the patients and the players.
Just the impact we're able to have coming in and see how much it brightens their day. Obviously, it's something that's heartfelt and we don't take for granted, and to have such an impact in the community here in Rochester is awesome, and it's something that we definitely strive as a team to do.
Members of the team also stopped by Golisano Children's Hospital to spread some joy there. Saturday's win against the Dolphins was Trey White's fourth game of the season and the second where he played 100% of the snaps. It was also his best outing since he returned from his ACL surgery. While he allowed a deep ball and a touchdown, he had 3 pass breakups, the most in a game for him since 2019. The former All-Pro is returning to form, and defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier is taking notice.
His confidence, you could see it growing, and he made some really good plays on the ball in that game as well against an outstanding receiver. So I think it was a big step for him to go up against that type of competition to get another gauge of where he is and what he needs to work on. So and that's just part of the process. But I think it was a good game for him to be able to get a feel for where he's at.
Trey White was injured last year on Thanksgiving in the game versus the Saints. The Bills and the Bears take on each other in double-digit below-zero wind chills. Fortunately, at least hopefully, you'll be curled up at home watching that game. Game time is 1 o'clock on Saturday right here on Channel 8.
As we head off to school on the bus this morning, it's chilly. Numbers in the lower 20s right now, so bundle up, but know that it's a decent, we'll call it a quote-unquote nice day. As temperatures get into the 30s, it's calm before our storm on the way as we get over the next couple days. So we'll sit on this 8-day graphic for a second here. Thursday night, that's when we start to see some rain showers move through. No temperature is going to be above freezing there. They last into Friday morning. Then we get the cold front. That's going to bring much colder air, strong winds as well. Maybe a flash freeze midday Friday, and that's going to mean snow showers as we get into Saturday, some lake effect as we get toward Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. So we'll stay busy over the next few days. Stay with us at noon. We'll have updates to that as we continue to prepare you for some of the busiest travel days of the year. Just happens to coincide with one of the most impactful storms that could be of the year.
All right, we'll keep an eye on lots of stuff. James, thanks so much, and thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise. Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a fantastic Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.